If you believed in God, you didn't scroll, and that's because this message had already been sent for you. You had kept seeing 1111 again and again, on your phone, on the clock, on random places, and now you finally knew it wasn't just a number. It was a sign, a call from the universe that said your moment had come. You had been through storms that almost broke you. You had cried silently when no one saw. You had waited, prayed, and wondered if anything would ever change. But every delay had been protection. Every closed door had been redirection. And every single tear had been watering your blessings. Why? The universe had been aligning everything behind the scenes. God had been building your miracle while you thought he was silent. Your angels had been whispering, "Keep faith, something greater is coming." When 1111 appeared, it meant your soul had awakened. Your energy had matched your destiny. Your thoughts had started to create your reality. And you finally realized that nothing had ever been random. It had all been preparation. So whenever you had seen 1111, you had stopped for a moment, taken a breath, and said, "I am ready. I trust the divine plan. I know my blessings are on their way." From that moment, everything had begun to shift. Opportunities had shown up. Peace had slowly replaced pain, and you had felt your power rising again. 1111 had been your reminder that you were never alone. Your angels had walked beside you. God had never left your side, and your purpose had just begun to unfold. You had moved from confusion to clarity, from waiting to receiving, from praying for a sign to becoming the sign. Now, if you're hearing this, know this truth. Your breakthrough had already started, your story had already changed, and your blessings were already on their way to you. So the next time you see 1111, smile, and remember, the universe had been speaking to you all along. You were chosen, you were protected, you were guided. You had reached a point where silence had become your only language. People had left, plans had failed, and faith had started to fade. But right when you were ready to give up, you had seen it again, 1111. That number had stopped you. It had spoken louder than any words. It had reminded you that you were never walking alone, because every unanswered prayer had been a setup for something divine. You had no idea that your angels were working behind the scenes, moving pieces, arranging timing, making sure that what was meant for you could never be missed. And slowly, everything had started to make sense. The nights that once felt endless had begun to shine. The pain that once felt permanent had started to heal. And you had realized the delay was never denial. It was preparation for your miracle. 1111 had become your reminder that destiny had never forgotten you. That the doors which closed weren't rejection. They were redirection toward something far better. You had begun to see how the universe worked in silence, how every detour had led you closer to purpose. You had started trusting again, believing again, becoming again. You had walked through fire and came out gold. You had survived everything meant to destroy you. And now, you had stepped into a season of peace, alignment, and divine timing. Because 1111 wasn't a sign of waiting anymore, it had become your sign of becoming. So if you're still seeing 1111 today, remember what it means. You are guided, you are chosen, and you are ready. The universe had already whispered your name into miracles that were waiting to unfold. Trust it, believe it, receive it. Outro. If these words reached your soul, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next 1111 you see might just mark the day your whole life begins to change.